So my name is Ethan Sklar. I am a partner at Tanya Bonakdar Gallery. I've been working at the gallery since 1997. The gallery was started by Tanya Bonakdar in the early 90s, and she has developed a program of some pretty incredible international artists that we traditionally work with from the beginning of their career until the present time, when they are more internationally known. Olafur Eliasson, Tomas Saraceno, and Saraceno are three examples of artists that we have worked with for decades, from the beginning of their career until their international renown. But all three of them work across media. They work in sculpture, installation, film, drawings, paintings, and that is something that is very important to the gallery as well. They're very formally interesting, conceptually interesting, and also engaged with ideas that are socially and politically relevant. Tomas Saraceno, whose work is here, is very interested in utopian ideas of architectural structures that might fly in the sky in a very carbon neutral, very progressive, very environmentally friendly way. He thinks about solutions for the troubles that we're facing environmentally. And one of those solutions is by looking to nature for inspiration for floating architecture. So soap bubbles and spider webs are two natural structures that could inspire man for floating cities. And these are sculptures that relate to that. The geometry of these sculptures relate to the geometry of soap bubbles. And then there's also reflectivity and glass and an idea of the celestial and something that is greater than mankind as in the limits of what we can sort of achieve on the planet. Yeah. So Sarah Z is an artist who is based in New York. She has made a very substantial career out of making very complex installations using oftentimes found objects or art materials or the printed image in non-traditional ways, kind of assembling them into very complex structures and installations and environments that are super interesting. Oftentimes they're models for how the world exists, kind of like planetariums or other types of models, scientific models that explore ideas of how man interacts with the world and how the world exists. She's also very interested in exploring images and how images are something that we experience in this very fast-paced way these days. And the idea of how we experience the world as purely two-dimensional images on screens versus images in the real world, that type of experience and the difference between analog and digital experience, virtual and real, is something that's explored very much in both her sculptures and her paintings. More recently, her paintings have become more and more important to her public practice. She studied painting in university and in her master's degree for fine art. So painting has always been a part of her practice, but more recently it's become more significant in her public presentations. And her paintings also deal with this idea of images and how we experience the world through images. Her paintings often deconstruct images, whether they are printed images or painted images, whether they are, you see brushstrokes that could be actually photographs of brushstrokes or real brushstrokes, drips, images that are collaged on top of the paintings, but then images that are also underneath the paintings. So Our experience of the images in her paintings are very complex and layered, just like our experience of images in everyday life now between the real world.